Hi guys, this is Shelley with Shelley Cooks. Thanks so much for joining me again. Today we're going to be doing a breakfast casserole. Last week I made breakfast sandwiches. As I mentioned, both my boys are home for the holidays, so I try to have something done ahead for them. So if you're looking for something that you can make a day ahead and just have it all set, stick around and we'll do this casserole. So the casserole is pretty straightforward. We're going to be using potatoes, and I've actually used mostly white potatoes, but I've also grated up a sweet potato with it. And I've got it all set in cold water. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to this, and I'm going to sort of pre-cook it a bit. And that way the eggs will not get overcooked in the oven while we're waiting for the potatoes to cook, because they'll be pretty much done. I also have on here, so I'm going to put that on high, bring it to a boil, and let it boil for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, just so it can start to cook a bit. I also have here, my frying pan is already on with a little bit of avocado oil in it. And as I said before, when you're frying, particularly with a nice stainless steel pan, you want to heat your pan up first, then add your oil, and then add your ingredients. And that's going to reduce the risk of it sticking to the pan. I also have some eggs here, so I'm going to just finish these. These are 12.5 eggs, and we're going to be scrambling those up. We have a few different types of cheeses. We have some mushrooms, onions. We also have some peppers that we're going to be putting in this. So it's going to be pretty full. These are hot Italian sausages, and we're going to be removing them from the casing and just using the sausage meat. So let's just start with that. I'm probably going to do about, these are the Costco packs, so I'll probably do about maybe 6 to 8 of them, because it's a good sized pan. I think it's a 9 by 13, and I want it to be rather full. A lot of the recipes for these breakfast casseroles are actually, I'm just going to drop it in there, and then we'll turn the pan up again once it gets started. A lot of these breakfast casseroles have bread in them as a base. I prefer potatoes. So this is sort of like a recipe that I've sort of created on my own. It's one of those things that what you have in the fridge you try to use. And that's where this idea came from. So the cheese, I'm going to do something a little different as well. I'm going to add a little bit of brie cheese. I'll cut it up in like cubes and scatter that in among it as well. And I think that's going to bring a little extra creaminess to it. So we have 3. Let me get to 6, and then we'll just get our little meat thing that I've shown you before for breaking up sausages and ground beef that I absolutely love. And when this starts to brown, we'll break it up. But the thing is we are going to make sure that this browns well. We're going to get some nice color to it, because that's where the flavor comes from when you're cooking any kind of meat. Browning doesn't mean that you just cook it until the pink is out of it. Browning means that you add a little bit of a crust to it, and so that you get the great flavor from it. So how many do we have here? We have 2, 4, 5. I'm going to do one more. And then we can put the rest of these sausages in a freezer bag and freeze them for the next time. I like using spicy Italian sausages for my spaghetti sauce and lasagna sauce, along with the beef. I find that it works really well. Okay, I'm going to clear this up just a little bit. So we have our potatoes on. They're close to boiling, not quite yet. We have our sausages on. They're almost browned. I've already done some onion and mushrooms, and now I'm doing the rest of the mushrooms. This dicer, or whatever it's called, is just amazing. I've spoken about it many times. I absolutely love it. I think you'll like it as well. It's for people particularly who are sensitive to chopping onions. It will be really good. I have it below if anyone's interested in purchasing it. There's a link below for it. You get different size cutters for it. And it's really, really convenient for cutting things up. So also here what we have our cheese all set to go to be grated up. I have some brie that I'm just going to cut up into cubes. And if you want to, let's take a look at the sausage. So as you can see, we're getting some nice color to our hot Italian sausage. This is the thing that I absolutely love. This is just perfect for breaking it up. It doesn't break it up so much that it becomes like sand, but it breaks it up into a really, really nice size. And this is new to me as well, these spatulas, these square spatulas. I really like them. I'm not particular about using silicone, and even if it's heat tolerant silicone, in hot pans and things. So this is perfect. And you can get around the sides with it and that sort of thing. So this is new to me as well. And I love it. It comes in a set. So maybe I'll put that link below too, in case somebody loves it. Extremely durable. Our potatoes over here are actually boiling. They just came to the boil, so I'm just going to give them maybe 3 minutes, and then I'm going to pull them off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this sausage. We've got some nice brown color to it. And I'm going to drain most of the fat, and I'll leave about a tablespoon, and add our mushrooms, onions, and peppers to this. And so now we have our mushrooms and onions cooking here. And I left very little oil in the pan from the sausage for this. And what I'm going to add in now is some frozen peppers. So what I do is when peppers are in season or they're on sale, I will buy a lot of them and freeze them on a tray with some parchment paper on the tray. And then when they've frozen, I put them in the freezer bags. And and they're perfect for uses and things like this. So I have some more here. I think I'm going to dump a little bit more in. We're also going to be throwing just a little bit of leftover spinach that I had in the refrigerator in this. Now, what's going to happen is that the frozen peppers are going to create a little bit of a steam in this pan, which is perfect because all of this brown font around the pan here, that's flavor. And if we put the lid on this, this is going to steam just a bit, and then we can come in and scrape that up. So that's what we're going to do now. We're just going to put the lid on this. The heat is up quite high. It's medium high. And we'll put the lid on it, and then we'll come back and scrape all that font off and take them off and get this all ready for our casserole. Okay, guys, I just want to show you all the font around here, how it comes off. And this here, like I said, is the flavor from the sausage when we cooked it. Now, it's created liquid in the bottom because we had the lid on it, and the peppers were frozen. But I'm going to turn this heat up to high now. And before I do that, I'm going to season these vegetables just a bit. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And I'm also going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning to this. But I think I'll add that to the eggs and not to this. And because it's dehydrated, or a dry herb, if I add it to the eggs, it'll hydrate it a little more than adding it to this. So I've turned the heat up to high, and now I'm just going to let this liquid cook off and just get a little bit of color to our vegetables. Okay, we're getting this. This is coming together really quickly. If you notice, you'll see some red onions in here. I had an appetizer the other day that I needed red onions for, and so I had about half a cup left in the refrigerator. And this, like I said, is just a perfect way to use it up. So let's get some color on this. Okay, guys, so everything is all set. Our vegetables are all set. I'm just going to dice up just a tiny bit of bacon here that I'm going to sprinkle on the top with the cubes of brie once we have everything else in the pan. So once we get this done, I'm just going to throw it on the plate here with the bacon, with the sausage. There we go. Let me just put this over in the sink out of the way. Now we have our pan. So I have a tiny bit of avocado oil in here, just a bit. I'm just using a paper towel just to spread that around a bit. And the first thing we're going to put in there is our potatoes that we had cooked and drained. So we didn't cook them all the way. Like I said, we only cooked them for about maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes at the very, very most. But this is going to be our base layer. So this isn't really a recipe. This is something that I've sort of come up with as I was thinking about what I could do with it. I did look online at a variety of them, but this is sort of like our own creation. Okay, so we're just going to spread that out so that it's a nice even layer. Okay, on top of that, we're going to put our sausage, our hot Italian sausage. You can use whichever one you like, whichever flavor, mild, German, whatever you like, or just even plain pork sausage if you like. I'm going to try to keep the bacon separate because I do really want that to go on the top, throwing it all over the floor. So a nice layer of the meat we'll have here. There is some of that going in there, the bacon. Now we're going to move on to our vegetables. I really like the way that these have fried up. They look delicious. There's lots of them. So there we go. We got some nice color on them. And we only added a bit of salt and pepper to this. And we did get all of that beautiful flavor from around the pan from the sausages. So let's just spread this out evenly. Oopsie. And then we're going to put a little bit of cheese on this. Okay, let's whip up our eggs first. So I'm going to move this to the side a bit. And as always, as I mentioned last time, when I do eggs, I like to put a little bit of Miracle Whip in them. You don't have to do that, but I find that it does add a little bit of flavor. It's like a zing that you get from the Miracle Whip. And it's sort of like a back note. You don't notice it a lot, but it's there. So I think that's about 18 eggs, about 1/4 cup of that. I'm also going to add a tiny bit of dry mustard, just about 1/2 teaspoon. And that again is just going to give you a little bit of a back note of flavor. Okay. Let's add about a teaspoon of salt. Don't need a whole lot of salt because we do have the sausage, right? But a teaspoon is not a lot for all of these eggs and the size of this dish. And some more black pepper. Okay, here's the Italian seasoning. I'm going to add that's a good teaspoon of that, maybe a little bit, 1.5 teaspoons. That's where most of your flavor is going to come from. Okay, let's give this a whisk. My oven is on 350. Now when we put this in the oven, it's probably going to take a good, probably 40, 45 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer for 40 minutes and I'll check it then. And what you will be looking for is that the egg is cooked. That's going to be the most important thing, so that is the big part of it. So we're going to whisk this a bit because you can use your mixer for this as well if you like. So we're going to whisk this a bit, and then we're going to add just a little bit of milk to it. This is the last of. So if you do this, you'll have breakfast for a while, or breakfast for a large crowd. You can even do this the day before, prepare all of this, even put your cheese on it, and then just add the eggs the next day, or you probably could even add them the night before and refrigerate it, and then just pop it in the oven the next morning. Perfect for Christmas morning or something like that. If you like this video, I really appreciate it if you could give us a thumbs up and like us and subscribe. And if you hit the little bell, you'll get a notification whenever we add another video. So I think you're really going to like this casserole. I've had many of them before, so in this one I just tried to add flavors that I like and that I know my family likes. Here we go. Lots and lots of cheese. I don't know if we will need all of this, but I like lots of cheese. So I have two different types of cheese here. I have Emmenthal and I also have cheddar. So I may not use all of it, but to be honest, I probably would have used my larger dish, but that's in use because I have a shepherd's pie that I made. So this could very easily go in a larger casserole dish. This one here is a 9 by 13. So when you make it, the spices, the flavors that you add what you like. It's a thing that I say all the time. I've added Italian seasoning. If there's something that you really like, add that. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of the Emmenthal. I don't think we're going to use near half of this. Again, these are the cheeses that I just happen to have in the refrigerator. Now, we are going to add our eggs. And we're going to pour this over nice and slow. And then we'll add our brie and bacon on top of that. So let's go nice and slow because this pan is full. Here we go. I'm going to make sure this gets topped up nicely and that I get it all in there. There we go. So I'm just going to take my spoon and just pull it away a bit. Just want to make sure that it's getting down in all of the nooks and crannies of our casserole because I did pack the potatoes down quite a bit. So I'm just moving this around a bit just to make sure that it's getting right through to the bottom. There we go. Now, that's looking pretty good. Okay, let's finish it off with a little bit of bacon. Everybody knows my little bit of bacon. It's not really a little bit, but it'll do. I still have a bit of sausage here, so I'm also going to add that. And then we're going to dollop our brie on that. Okay? That looks pretty good. I've cut the brie up in little cubes, and that's going to give us some nice bubbling. Okay. I don't think we need. This is going to add such nice creaminess to this recipe. So can you imagine this being served with some, let's say, toast from homemade bread on the side? It's almost a complete breakfast. A little bit of fruit. Nice cup of tea or coffee. This would be a fantastic breakfast. Or if you have company and you don't want to cook breakfast the next morning, do something like this and just refrigerate it. And then the next day, just pop it out of the oven, out of the refrigerator and pop it in the oven. It'll take a little bit longer in the oven because it's going to be coming from cold. But I think it would be absolutely perfect. So this isn't going to be covered. It's just going to go in the oven just like this because I do want the color on it. And 350 oven for, I'll try 40 minutes, and I'll let you know how long it actually took. So it looks pretty good. So our casserole is out of the oven. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I did forget to put the spinach in it. But I think it's going to be really delicious anyway. Let's give it a shot. That looks really good. Yeah. That looks delicious. I want to try the creaminess with the brie to see how that came out with it. Oh, that's really good. That is really good. I don't have much tolerance for heat, and even using the spicy Italian sausage, it's just perfect. It balances well. The potatoes are delicious. That is really, really good. This would be fantastic for Christmas morning. I may actually do this Christmas morning for us and do it the night before, so I don't have to worry about it. So I hope you'll give it a try. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. Take a second to give us a thumbs up. Take care. Bye bye.